First, thank you and your cohort or colleagues, I should say, for continuing to shine a light on this and provide us all with this platform for a very much needed conversation as we continue to do this work. I will say that, similar to everybody else, our work has shifted dramatically as it relates to, operating within the pandemic. And so some of the things that we have begun to use from a virtual perspective are different activations. So we had, for example, a Instagram live party with DJs from across the country to help bring attention to the census, because we noticed a spike based on one of the national DJs based out of New York, DJ D Nice. He was able to pull in about 300,000 to 400,000 people, and he actually worked with one of our national partners and When We All Vote and First Lady Michelle Obama to register almost 500,000 people to vote through that mechanism. So we took a cue from that and we leveraged that to engage people around the census. And we had probably right around 4,000 to 5,000 people that engaged. Now that's, nationally, that's not just based here in Houston and in Texas. But we've also started to do a weekly podcast to get out the information, not just about the census, but all of our community work that we do within the Urban League and with our partners. But every episode, we also make sure to highlight the census. I do want to give a nod to Frances, a director from Houston in Action, because she's done an amazing job with her team in terms of helping us to organize. And so we're actually in the process of starting to do some old school outreach, because one of the things that we've noticed even more with the coronavirus is the disparities as it relates to the digital divide. And so, communities of color do not have access to technology at the same rate. And so even though, it's good to use technology because a lot of people are at home, there are still a lot of people that don't have access to it. And so how are we still trying to connect them? And so doing that via phone banking, text banking. We are still in the process of working with some of our local grocery store partners to get signage, because that is one of the places that even during the pandemic, we've noticed that there is, consistent traffic. And so trying to make sure that we are going to where the people are. And, when it comes to challenges beyond those, one of the initial things I've noticed, because I've also gotten the opportunity to speak to different groups, community organizations that are having their own Zoom meetings, whether it's fraternities or organizations like 100 Black Men, is that some people were confused about the deadline. And so because we were promoting Census Day, April 1st, a lot of people were saying, oh, I thought that was the last day we could complete it. And these are people that, highly intelligent, some multiple degrees. And so there was just confusion, I think, because of the way we were marketing Census Day. And so that was definitely a lesson learned. And so continuing to make sure that people know the census is still up and we have a lot of work to do. In 2010, we had approximately 3.7 million people undercounted within the Black community. And you're talking about, I believe, roughly 7 out of 10 between the ages of 0 to 5 that were undercounted when you're talking about kids. So there's a lot of work that we still have to do, because when you look at Texas, Harris County, and Houston, I was just looking at it earlier. I believe Texas is around 55% compared to the national rate. Harris County is right around, I think, almost 54%, and Houston just crossed the 50% threshold. And even when you drill down to some of the zip codes here in Houston and Harris County, the ones that are lagging the furthest behind are still communities of color. And so that is a huge challenge. I think the phone banking is going to help to put a dent in it, or at least that is the hope. But still trying to leverage those grassroots partnerships to get with the other community organizations like churches, schools that have the list that we can leverage to get a hold of people.
Could I ask you one quick question before we move on? And that is, when you have a DJ, a famous artist like Lizzo, you had mentioned Lizzo when we were in Houston, are you aiming at younger people in the hopes that they will pull in their parents? Or how do you see the intergenerational messaging going with these terrific celebrity events you are doing?
So I'll say it's twofold. One, it is the hope that, and we have seen in some instances, it is effective to leverage the younger demographic to get the word to their parents and help to spread it, just because of how connected they are, leveraging technology and other mechanisms. But also because that's a demographic that is not always engaged at the highest level. And I will tell you that even just last night, I was very encouraged. I had a young man that was connected to me, actually as a result of what's going on with the Ahmaud Arbery case. But he's somebody who wants to get engaged, and he, reading about that case and even participating in commissioner's court yesterday for the first time, watching that online, he's just very passionate about getting involved. And so, one of the hopes or the positives I think to draw from this is that it is shining a light on, again, these disparities that were already present, and people are becoming more aware of some of these things. And as a result, they want to be more engaged and more involved. And so he is someone who I count will probably be a success story. He is looking to help us and be a leader, and he has a group of people that he's organizing as well. So, still a lot of work, as I've mentioned, but very positive in terms of some of the outreach that I've received from community members.
Thank you